So the Marvels, ladies and gents, has been delayed. I said at the time, it's got to have been delayed for reshoots. I've said it a few times now. And it seems that just a prophet, premonitions, or at the very least, other people are confirming what I suspected. Which is not like, this is not a surprise. This is not me going like, oh, gotcha. Like, it's obvious. If you didn't think it was being delayed for reshoots, then, well, I don't know what you... Stop talking about movies. It's guaranteed that this was being delayed for reshoots, but apparently it's worse than we thought, and it's being delayed because it's got abysmal test screening reactions, like really, really bad test screening scores. So we'll dive into this today. Hit subscribe, give the video a like, and share it. I'd love, really appreciate it if you did. YouTube has just nuked this channel into oblivion. People aren't getting recommended. It's like 500,000 views down just because YouTube just clicked something like a light switch. It's very, very frustrating as a content creator. But like, never mind, whatever. It is what it is. Just do me a solid. I'd love you a long time if you did. Anyway, so here we have it. This is just an article that sort of compiles it because I don't really want to listen to Grace Randolph's screeching voice confirming what I suspected. So, look, the reason for the Marvel's MCU delay is worse than thought. For anyone that doesn't talk about movies generally, this was always going to be the case. But apparently there's no doubt that the MCU is having major problems, which just might be another Star Wars for Disney, which, Disney has pushed Star Wars into oblivion at this point, and, it's not a stretch that their sort of crusade of a certain narrative that they're looking to push will lead Marvel down that same path. And the reason why I say that is because, of course, not everyone agrees with that narrative. That's just a fact. Whatever side of the narrative you sit on, not everyone agrees with it, right? Like, that's just basic. So you start really going hard on that and pulling back from, a focus on entertainment, then the be-all and end-all will be people become disenfranchised from either side. Either element of this sort of narrative push that they're looking to do. So, again, it's not a stretch that that's going to be the case. But here we have it. And the thing is, it was a real bad pushback. I mean, they delayed it by 4 months. It was going to be a July release, and now it's been pushed back to November, which is a big, 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 big delay. It's not a small delay. That's a huge delay. And you're moving from a prime time spot to nothing. And people have tried to spin this and go, well, they might get some of that Thanksgiving. No, they're not getting anything from Thanksgiving. They're way, way, way too far from Thanksgiving. And there's other movies coming out that will cannibalize it. This is not good for Disney doing what they did. And they would have done it with purpose. They're not gonna willingly put themselves in a worse state, risk the film for no reason. There is a reason behind it. And like, you're looking at, this is the best of a bad bunch. So they could release the film in its current state, which is they can't do because bad test screenings, or they can delay it 4 months to a dead air spot with reshoots to risk it being better, still knowing full well that they're going to take a loss because it's not in a primetime spot, but maybe that loss will be recouped because it's slightly better than it would have been. That's what they're working with on their sort of risk assessment, management, PR element here. Again, not good. Really not good. So the Wrap reported on the new release date and offered that the delay was to give the film more time for post-production, which is something that fits with all the reports surrounding Marvel's VFX issues, which Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania has had numerous. In fact, there's even people coming out now from VFX houses that worked on the film lambasting Marvel, which is, again, nothing new at this point. We always get that because they have not changed their behaviour. But this is not the case. They don't need that much time to finish the VFX, for goodness sake, because this tested a long time ago. So it was figured that since the Marvels was given more time for post-production, that it was the VFX that would be the issue, as the film was going to be another heavy CGI-intensive movie. So Disney and Marvel delayed the release to make the flick look all the better. Again, to avoid what happened with Quantumania. However, the real problem might not just be the VFX with the Marvels, as two sources offer a different reason, which is even more worrisome. So, Grace Randolph, my nemesis. She's not my nemesis, I don't really care. But anyway, she offered up the reason that the Marvels has been delayed is that the movie tested really poorly with audiences in screen tests. Now, the VFX won't be finished at that point, but audiences know that. They don't test. They're not testing VFX. They're testing the film. And she said, the Marvels was pushed from summer to winter due to poor audience test scores. So Marvel wants to do yet another round of reshoots to avoid, well, another round of this kind of mess. Now, it's funny, she says here, I mean, everyone loves Paul Rudd, Jonathan Majors and Michelle Pfeiffer, but with Brie Larson and Iman Vellani, that could be a Star Wars level bloodbath of toxicity. And hopefully, not only does Disney Marvel not want that for themselves, but they don't want to do that to their actors. It's got nothing to do with that. And also, no matter how many people like Paul Rudd, Jonathan Majors and Michelle Pfeiffer, it's not saved Ant-Man. Okay, it's not saved the Ant-Man film. But she is right to a certain degree. You know, they won't want to do that to themselves. They don't really care too much about the actors. They're kind of secondary. It's all about themselves at this point in time, which makes sense. They're a business. I can see why. So she said, and it continues anyway, says, so while Disney Marvel refuses to admit defeat publicly, totally understandable, never let them see you sweat, I think behind closed doors it's a downright sauna considering the huge scheduling changes that have been made so abruptly. And they are really abrupt. It's a mess. It is an absolute mess. So Randolph also recommended Disney to fire Marvel's Rick and Morty writers, including Quantumania writer Jeff Loveness, off Avengers the Kang Dynasty, which I would agree there as well. The claims about the Marvels testing poor with audiences are backed up by Giant Freaking Robot, who actually first reported on the poor test screening reaction 7 months ago. They wouldn't have had this is not like a news. Don't ever believe Giant Freaking Robot, just as an FYI. They pull things out of their arse and sometimes get things right. You know, like a broken clock is right twice. Anyway, so the site said that Marvel Studios is getting nervous after poor test screenings of the Marvels. I mean, what a report. Good report. So there you have it. I mean, look, this is not a stretch. You know, this is fairly obviously the case. You know, you were not going to delay it 4 months, move it from prime time to nothingness without a justifiable reason. And the justifiable reason isn't, well, it's just because, you know, we just want to move it. No, that's bollocks. It's nothing. There's nothing at all. The reason is because it's really, really bad test screenings. And that makes perfect sense, given Marvel at this point in time, given the actors in hand, given the fact that they're going from a TV show to a movie. That matters as well, because people might be checked out from the TV shows and then they're like, who are these idiots then? Why am I watching a movie with these idiots? Who are they? So that matters. All this matters. So let me know what you think down below. This is just another nail in the coffin for Marvel, and it's a shame because they don't have to do this. First few Marvel films were great. This doesn't have to happen. Just fire the shitty woke writers with bizarre ideological leanings in everything that they do. It's fine to have ideological leanings, just don't inject it into everything. It's boring, it's homogenous. You know, all these films are the bloody same now. Anyway, love to hear your thoughts. Take care.